Hello and welcome to Talking Trades, the weekly podcast where we talk about comics so you don't have to. I'm Jeremy, I'm a DC fan.
And I'm John, a Marvel nut.
And this is not our second try at doing this.
Nope, it's our fourth.
You're not wrong. John, happy end of Spookvember. Bleh.
Happy end of Spookvember.
Bleh. Can't believe it. Can you believe it?
This year,
It's over. It's been so long. It's
been
so
84
long.
years.
I'm so upset. It has, dude. How was your... We've already done this, but the audience doesn't know that. How was your turkey day?
Oh, what a completely unexpected question. I guess my off-the-cusp honest reaction would be that it was good. It was the first year in forever where no one worked retail. So we got to have a normal Thanksgiving where we didn't have to eat dinner at 2 p.m.
Which is not the case normally.
Well,
That's
and
cool.
that's the thing too, is like at large, that's not the norm. That's the exception.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was.
What'd you guys do with
actually
your
nice
normal
for a change.
Thanksgiving?
Cooked. We had football on. I played a lot of Final Fantasy 12 while football was on. And ate
Yeah.
and hung out. It was a good time.
As long as you had fun, you know?
Yeah. How was your turkey day?
It was good. It was good. It was just me, my dad, my mom, my brother, and then the grandparents. Nice and socially distant, nice and safe. That's fun.
Good.
It's
Good.
fun to be safe. And I did try to go to Black Friday to get a PlayStation 5. It didn't work out. I was up at like 4 a.m. and I was 8th in line, and they were like, nope, we've only got 2. And I was like, okay, bye.
Which is not the way I thought that was going to go for you.
No.
I'm completely honest.
And I was like,
with you.
maybe I came too late. Like, and I asked the person next to me, like, hey, when did you get here? And she's like, 7 o'clock. I'm like, 7 o'clock? She's like, yeah, yesterday. I'm like, oh, so I'm the first one in line who wasn't
From
here yesterday.
today.
She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So, like, there was no chance. She's like, no. I was like, oh, okay. Well, then I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so bad knowing that I had no chance.
I'm going to say,
So,
scalpers are poopy doo-doo heads.
hot take, John. And also, be careful with the language.
I
Can't believe you said that.
Hey, I know it's hearing this for the first time live just now, but I'm not going to gussy up my language for the podcast.
Whoa. He said it again. I can't believe this. Speaking of gussing, let's gussy up some news. This Week in Geek.
This Week in Geek.
This Week in Geek, John. Some stuff. Some things. The most important thing, of course, is that Starfire has a goth daughter. John, Starfire is from the Teen Titans. You already knew this. You're a huge Starfire guy. I know you are.
I mean, that's a lie, but we're in too deep now. Yeah, I'm into it. Let's go.
Yeah, so Starfire has a daughter, and they're releasing a new comic soon, graphic novel soon, where we meet her daughter, and her daughter's like a angsty goth teen, and I'm into it. I'm going to read it.
That I'm here for.
It sounds weird and fun. I will check it out. That's all the news that I had until the very end when we're going to talk about the big news. But John, what do you got?
Well, I got a couple things.
You have a whale?
Well, first of all, we have Kate Bishop is coming to Marvel's Avengers.
Yes, she is. Very exciting.
So that's neat. It'll be the first character released post-launch, and I'm excited for it. I missed the Nintendo Direct style
Reveal.
They have a name for it. I can't think of what it's called, but yeah,
Premiere.
the thing where they kind of detail all of her kit, etc. It's exciting. I still haven't beaten Marvel's Avengers because I'm like, let's wait for the PS5 version, and then it got delayed till next year, and I'm like, maybe I'll wait till next year. So it is what it is on that front, but it's exciting. It's exciting. If that leak is anything from a bunch of episodes ago, any indication, like we're in for a...
God, so long ago.
I know.
It's
We're in
been
for
84 years.
A long stream of content coming to it, which is great.
That's cool. And exciting.
And
What
she'll
a
be
fun
free as
thing
well.
to do.
That's the thing. Is all the characters are free. There's a battle pass like thing you can buy if you want all the cosmetics and stuff. Which I'm not gonna definitely not buy for every character because if that leak is true and we are having 15, that's $150, and like that's okay.
I'll buy the ones that I really want. And that's it. like Black
Right.
Panther with cape.
Right. Like, well, you would. I think you would buy the thing, and then you would be able to earn by playing. Like, you wouldn't buy just.
That's
the cosmetic.
dumb. Then
You basically buy
That's
the ability
really dumb.
to unlock it. Fortnite's been doing
Nope,
it for
I'm out.
years at this point.
I don't play
It
Fortnite.
really is what it is. No, I don't either. But Galactus is there. Everyone's
Oh
there.
God. Woof, dude. Woof.
Woof.
Okay. Well, what else? What else? Something else.
We have confirmation that that Umbrella Academy star Elliot Page will continue to portray Vanya in Netflix's Umbrella Academy.
Elliot Page is the name of formerly actor, formerly known as Ellen Page of Juno and Umbrella Academy fame. They have officially announced that he is
They is also correct.
identifying as a male,
Yep.
which is really cool. This is the first Hollywood celebrity that I can think of in our lifetime that is openly transgender, which is super cool. And I say Hollywood celebrity, I mean like movie star. I know Kris Jenner transitioned very, very publicly,
This
but
is
that's
This is the first time I can think of someone transitioning who has already reached fame in Hollywood. But I mean, you have seen like Laverne Cox from Orange Is the New Black. She's had a lot of success.
I'm not sure who Laverne Cox is.
Do you remember when Fox did that Rocky Horror TV
Yes.
one?
Okay.
That's
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I do remember. Them now.
Yes.
So
So,
Kris Jenner,
very
Laverne
exciting.
Cox, and now
Elliot Page.
So will Elliot continue to play a female character, or do you think they'll address that in the show?
You know, I don't know. I think the show is so far diverged at this point from the comics where really anything's up. But
You could have it be a time split, like, oh, hey, different universe. This Vanya is and it's a male character,
or just like anything, pick any name. Period.
right? I don't
it's-
know. I was trying to
I
think
don't
of
know.
like a V name for a guy. Victor.
But I guess
Victor would have been
I
good.
guess they're still gonna portray the same character. What that character's arc and story will be, who's to say? I think
Cool.
that if they do something, they do decide to change Vanya. You would see that season 3. I think that too much work is already underway and too much of it's in the can to do something that huge.
Oh,
you
yeah.
might see that for 4 if they decide to go that path.
And that'll be okay.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
like his previous roles where he played a female, that's fine. It's what it was then.
Yep. And
Very interesting. Very exciting.
I believe you were saying that he's just requesting in credits to have the name altered to Elliot.
I don't know if he's. I read something that I think that he, from what I saw, and this could be completely not true. I don't know. But what I saw in a very brief press release on Reddit was he would prefer that the credits reflect, his name being Elliot. I think obviously, like, if HBO is airing the movie, they can make that change. But if you have a DVD of Juno, it's gonna say Ellen Page, and I don't think it doesn't sound like that's gonna be something that's gonna upset him. It's like, oh, that's what it was then. You can't change that. It's already printed. But going forward, if the movie is re-released, they would like that change made.
I think that's where
The
you'll
credit-
see it on the re-release because, like, let's say, for example, like Netflix picks up Juno. For example, Netflix is not going to have the authority to alter the movie, right? Because even change the name in a credit, you're still altering the movie. So they don't own that movie, so they can't make that authority. They can absolutely change Umbrella Academy. They do own that. But as
Right.
far as, like, someone else streaming a movie that they're in, I just don't...
They also can't stop.
I can
Netflix
see
can't
it.
say no to the company that owns the movie, Lionsgate or whoever, saying, we want this change made. Here's the money. Make the change."
Correct. If they'll do that, I hope they do that. But I think what will happen is if whatever they've done gets re-released, that will be part of the re-release. And I think
Yes.
then if Netflix picks up Juno after a hypothetical re-release, this hypothetical re-release happens, then they will be getting the new, the master or whatever copy they have will be the new version, and then it would have the fixed credits. This is all conjecture, speculation, and what I'd like to see, and what I think realistically could happen. None
Yeah,
of
we
that's
have
confirmed. None
we
of
have
that's remotely
no
close to confirmed.
confirmation on anything. But we are excited, and we are very we lend our support to Elliot in his transition. That's very cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very, very cool.
Well, it's
Speaking
also,
of credit changes,
I was
Jonathan,
going to say, it's almost like we did this
it's almost like
already.
we practiced this. Be careful. We're getting to the part where we haven't practiced yet. I mean, what?
Yeah, speaking of credits changing, Disney announced they either did or will soon change the Marvel crawl in Black Panther to honor Chadwick Boseman, similar to how the Marvel crawl for Captain Marvel honors Stan Lee, where all the different images are different Stan Lee scenes. Black Panther either does or will soon, or maybe by the time this post, who knows, feature Chadwick Boseman and honor him, which is really cool.
It is very, very cool. I am excited to see that. I'm very excited to have that happen. I think no one deserves it more than Stan Lee and Chadwick Boseman. Two incredible people who affected a lot of lives for the better.
Absolutely.
Very,
Absolutely.
Very cool. What else?
More Marvel news. Not really news, but I've beaten Spider-Man Miles Morales.
How was it?
Ask me anything. It was fantastic. I loved it. So good. I don't know if it's better than Spider-Man PS4, but it's definitely, like, there are no valleys. Like, it's pretty much, like, nonstop, straight up. But, like, there's less to do, which makes sense, because it's a budgeted, quote-unquote, game, releasing at 50 as opposed to 60. You have the same New York map, so it's the same city. There are different, like, buildings that you can go to in PS4, so, like, there's that. What I love about the game especially was that the enemies, the obstacles Miles had to face, Peter wouldn't be able to overcome. Like, it's really, the game was developed around Miles's unique kit, the camo, the venom, the bioelectricity. All the stuff Peter doesn't have is what this game is built around. And I thought that was great.
It's not just a reskin of the
It is
Peter
not.
stuff.
It is not just a reskin of Peter stuff. Like, yes,
That's
lot
cool.
of the slinging and the web action, that's largely the same. But, like, it had to be Miles. Peter wouldn't be able to do this. It had to be Miles. And
That's good.
I'm not going to tell you what happens, but there is a post-credits stinger teasing the future of that franchise, and I'm very, very excited for it.
Oh, I'm excited too. I can't wait till I get a PS5 to play it.
Me neither. Let's do the big news, and then I have something random and off topic, but I just wanted to mention it because it's a ridiculous headline.
Big news. Big news. Wonder Woman 1984 is coming to HBO Max on the same day it will release in theaters, which is the 25th of December, a.k.a. Crimbus, a.k.a. Crisis, a.k.a. the birthday of the Big J. I am very excited. It's unfortunate that it's not going to be in theaters, but I will be watching this on HBO Max many times.
It is in theaters.
I'm sorry, it's unfortunate that it didn't come to theaters earlier, and it's unfortunate
Yes.
that the global pandemic is happening, and it's unfortunate that I will not be seeing it in theaters because I will not be seeing it in theaters.
I think it balances out how many times you've seen Wonder Woman in theaters, so like I think you're pretty okay.
I saw it 5 times. I really liked it. I am assuming this one will be just as good, if not better.
It's also not only coming to HBO Max, it also will be no additional cost, so we're not going to have a Mulan situation.
So, everyone watch it on repeat. Everyone watch it with your ad blocker off. Whatever you got to do, give HBO
Go
Max
to
the
bed
money so they know
watching
how
it.
good this is.
Like,
We want them to know this is a good idea.
I don't know what metric they're evaluating, but like, give it all the views.
This is a good idea.
It also, per Patty Jenkins' tweet,
Oh, friend of the show, Patty Jenkins?
it'll be made available. Very same. Be made available in 4K Ultra HD, HDR10, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos. So for those of you that have those capabilities in your home,
Get ready.
you can do the thing.
I don't.
I don't either. I don't think I know anyone that does, but hey,
No, but hey, good for those people.
10 people out there are stoked.
Heck yes. What's the random thing you got, John?
So, a magician tells Nintendo they could make Kadabra cards again.
I'm sorry, what?
A magician.
The guy who sued them because of the spoon thing
Yes, Yuri Geller
is saying you can do it again?
has said, Nintendo, go ahead. You can make new Kadabra cards in the game. It's fine.
I am so... I knew that fact. I knew that they couldn't make Kadabra cards. But you forget how popular that Abracadabra and Alakazam are,
Yep.
and they haven't had a card released. Not like
Since,
a good
like,
card.
I don't even
Like
know
the
if,
90s.
Well, I don't even know if like Kadabra was in base set 2, to be honest with you. I don't even know if that was the case. But I know it was in the original set.
Because they've released the Evolutions cards, which is the reprinting of the original set multiple times. And that Kadabra and Alakazam are in there. But that's just because it was already made. They couldn't do anything new. That is amazing.
So
that first set, when it's out again, is going to be worth a lot of money.
It's very exciting.
It's hilarious.
The headline I saw
It's
was
hilarious that it's
Yuri
news.
Geller tells Nintendo they could print Kadabra again. I'm like, what is this?
I didn't see that.
I haven't
wish I
played
had.
Pokemon since like Fossil, which was the third
Second set.
expansion. Jungle was the first. The second
Fossil
set.
was 3.
Yeah, because when it came to gym leaders, I was like, I'm out, for whatever reason. So like, it's been a minute. When I think it was like,
This is where I draw the line.
I think it was like Giovanni's Persian. What is this? I'm out of here.
Ew, Sabrina's Ghastly? More like,
Exactly.
not that.
Exactly. Because like, call me arbitrary. I don't care.
No. Stop. We just passed No Nuance November. Just say the hot take and move on. You're good. You're in a safe space, John.
So so I didn't even know that Nintendo like could not legally put Kadabra in make new Kadabra cards.
Which means you can't put Alakazam in the set.
Correct.
Because
I
you
guess
need
you could put
to-
Abra for like just to have a one-off, but yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Yuri Geller is a magician from who was like a household name ish in like the 70s, and his big thing was like bending spoons with his mind.
And
So-
Kadabra was made not to make fun of him, but like in reference, and he didn't like that, so he sued.
Yeah, I always saw that as just like an honor, I didn't realize bending spoons was like trademark Yuri Geller. I thought it was just a magic thing of like,
I saw it first in The Matrix.
moving spoons of your mind. Like that's a magic thing. That's neat. I didn't realize it was like, this is my thing. And you didn't consult me. I didn't realize that was the degree that it was going with that. But
It's pretty funny. I'm not going to
yeah,
lie to you.
Nintendo can make Kadabra cards. The magician said it was okay. What a time.
I don't know what to do with this information, but I'm very happy that
Right.
it happened.
That's exactly.
But let's just move.
I'm like,
Let's
oh,
just,
good for
you know
Nintendo.
what?
I'm like, but it doesn't affect my life anyway.
You know what? Let's move on, and let's just jump into the pull list.
Here's your pull list.
This week on the pull list, we are reading Volume 2 of Bitter Root. Bitter Root is the amazing book written by David F. Walker and Brian Stelfreeze, and I have all the names.
Chuck Brown.
Thank you. Chuck Brown, not Brian Stelfreeze, I'm sorry. Chuck Brown, David Walker, Sanford Green, with the artists are Sophie Dodgson and Sanford Green, Clayton Cowles is our lettering, John Jennerings is our back matter, and Shelley Bond was the editor for this book. Very cool. This book is so good. We loved the first volume of this book.
We sure did.
Now it's an Eisner winner.
And we were
Let me read the second one.
overjoyed to discover that the second one was already out. That seldom happens for us.
Here's how new this volume is. The next issue that's not in this volume hasn't released yet. That's how new this is. This is probably the most recent book we've ever done on the podcast.
And I think that is why I'm so surprised that it got an animated series. Because the IP is just so new.
Is it an animated series?
I thought it was animated. I could be wrong.
I know it's getting a series. I'm very excited. So this book actually opens up with the Red Summer Special, which is just kind of like a prequel event to everything. You get to find out how Ma Etta and her family got to New York, and how the Sangreers got their start. You get to find out how Bert, how he is who he is, and it turns out he had a stutter when he was a kid, and he became very loquacious to counteract the stutter. You find out how the uncle, who has the big scar across his face, whose name I can't remember, you find out how he got that scar and how he is, who he is now. You find out about... Is that it? That might be it in that particular one. That's that. Really cool. Little opener to this volume.
I'm going to be honest, I missed it because of just how the Comixology was set up at the time I started reading. The volume, we didn't have the volume purchased, but issues 6 and 7 were there, so I just started reading the book. So I missed the Blood Summer Special, or the Red Summer Special.
Gotcha.
So that's
it's
on
very
me.
cool. It's not necessary, but it's very cool.
That is on me.
Issue 6 actually opens up with... so the first volume, or the first issue in the volume, actually opens up with the villain from the first book, and you find out how he became who he is. And you see the Oklahoma bombing that resulted in the death of his 2 children, and the woman saving him by turning into the Crow. Actually, is that in the Blood Summer Special? That's in the Blood Summer Special. Sorry, that's in the Blood Summer Special. And so is Blink and her friend, who is a Chinese Jinnu hunter. They're kind of running all over, and they are taking out Jinnu over the city. And you find out that Jinnu is not the name for the creatures in other languages. That's just what the Sangreers call them, which is pretty cool. We also get to see Cullen. We get to see Cullen when he goes into the other world, and we get to see his background. He meets up with his father again, and he trains with his father and his aunt to fight the evil. And when his father dies and everyone around them dies, it's just him and his aunt. He jumps back through the portal to go back to New York to save there, because the ultimate evil has gone across into the new world, into New York. Mm-hmm. They were trying to keep the ultimate evil, which is called Ardo, at bay in what they're calling hell, but it got through. So he's like, there's no reason for us to stay here. It's through. We gotta go stop it. But he's very jaded and he's very dark at this point.
I can't find one way or the other if it's animated or not. It's a movie, though. I thought it was a series. It's a movie.
I thought it was a series too.
Yeah, I couldn't find one way or the other, animated or live action. But I'm stoked. I forgot Ryan Coogler was attached. I'm very excited now.
Yes, that's right.
I know we talked about it. I just forgot about it because
that was
so
a while
much
ago. It feels like it was years ago. It's not even been 6 months, I don't think. Holy cow. Everything's insane, dude. What I liked about this comic, or this graphic novel, is all of the covers are movies that are just black actor movies. Or black culture movies, which is really cool. So this first one is... It's not Boys in the Hood. What is it? I'll find it. It might be Poetic Justice. Let me double check that right now. Poetic Justice, which is a movie that Tupac is in. Yeah, it looks like Poetic Justice, I think. Oh, maybe they're all Spike Lee movies.
It's probably Spike Lee because it says a Walker Brown Green joint, and usually you'll see a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah, that's what he puts on all of his movies. Let me see here. I'm looking at all the covers. It's Do the Right Thing. This is a Do the Right Thing cover, this first one. Oh, that's awesome. It's like an exact copy. That's super cool. So this is the first issue in this one. That's the variant cover, too. The real cover is just a character or two from the Sangreer family on the cover, which is still cool. But this is the ultimate evil has gotten through in this issue, and Cullen and his aunt need to go. They can't mourn the losses of the people they had with them. They have to go and stop everybody in Harlem. We cut back to Harlem, which, if we remember from the previous volume, was being overrun by the Jinoo and these new monsters, which are just pure hate. They're not humans corrupted by hate. They're
actual like hate demons.
And they are running over New York. They're running roughshod in Harlem. The Doctor, the bad guy from the first volume, he had escaped. He had lived to fight another day, and he's recovering. And a creature comes to him, and the creature has taken over the body of his former lover / accomplice, and he's like, I know you're not her, but you look like her. She's like, yeah, I'm still here to help you, though. We can use the hate to get retribution, which is a thing. It's a little terrifying, but we've now seen a shift in power. It's no longer the Doctor. What is his name?
Walter Sylvester.
It's no longer Dr. Walter Sylvester. It's now this new evil named Adro, who has taken over. And that's going to be a huge problem. In Harlem, a few weeks later, the Sangrear family is feeding people, helping people, trying to regroup. And the new people who came in from Hell, who are the Ant and Cullen, want to help. They meet with all the other families, and this is where we get to see that it's not just the Sangrears who are fighting monsters in the city. We see like a Middle Eastern family, we see an Asian family, we see a white family. They all work. They do all have the same job, but they don't work together. They don't like each other.
This book and really issue opened the world up significantly to where each of these in their own culture are fighting the same evil. It's not isolated to the Sangrear family. No, they won't. They also have their own different names for this evil. They're very much like walling each other off. But it's
crazy.
Huge for the mythos. Like it's 5-6 times bigger than I thought it was. Like it's great.
We then see the family out fighting, and we see Bert. Is it Bert?
Berg.
We see Berg, the uncle, and Blink fighting, and Berg gets so enraged that he reverts back to the monster form. In the last volume, he had turned into a monster, but they had cured him. Well, turns out they didn't cure him. He's uncurable at this point, and they don't know why.
But he still has his faculties. He still uses very verbose language. I don't know. I can't think of like a...
Yeah, that's right.
Loquacious, is that the right word? I don't even know. He would know.
Both of them work.
Berg would know.
He's still him. His will is so
very
strong.
Very fancy $10 words.
Yeah, his will is so strong that he can't be completely overtaken by the hate, which is amazing. But seeing this, like, okay, there's a real problem. So we have two stories that go along here. We have the people in Harlem and we have the people in Georgia. In Georgia, Dr. Sylvester comes upon a town that's it's a black town, and it has been destroyed. And Adro is like, hey, you see this? You see the destruction caused here by the white people that have ruined it because they don't want you to succeed, and they don't like care about you. And we can use this. We can help these people here get retribution. When they see a dead boy hung in a tree, and the town is burned, and we find out later. And the reason that this happened is because this boy was convicted or was accused of touching a white woman, even though he didn't. And so a bunch of Klan members burned the town down and hung him.
Yeah, this whole thing has Adro going through Georgia, saying like, oh, you poor thing, give me your hatred, give me your fear, give me your pain. I can take all this burden from you. And grows more and more powerful with every single person. It's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
It is. But that's Adro's entire plan, is to use hatred to grow stronger. And we'll see that as it continues. I'm trying to find the next cover, here, but I am not able to find it on the Spike Lee poster Google search that I am doing. But it is another Spike Lee movie. And is it? Maybe it's Once Upon a Time in Harlem. Oh, it's Boys in the Hood. It's Boys in the Hood. Very cool. Is that a Spike Lee movie? I don't know if Boys in the Hood's a Spike Lee movie, but I know it's a great movie. Okay, so in this one, we see Oklahoma in 1919. We're living in the 1924 universe. That's where the
that is the
modern
current
time
year.
is for the book. And in 1919, Dr. Sylvester has lost his wife, and he is being told by his pastor that, hey, God has a plan for you. I know this is horrible, but everything that gets done is to make you who you're going to be. Not seeing a lot of solace in this, but still maintaining his faith, Sylvester leaves his hometown and goes...
the exchange with the pastor is pretty
haunting.
pretty gut-wrenching, because the pastor says, this is all part of God's plan, and Sylvester's like, yeah, this is part of God's plan. God wanted my children to grow up without their mother. And there's like 2.5 frames of silence. And the pastor says is like, I believe these things happen to that God, everything that happens to us that God does is to turn us into the person that we're meant to be. Which is, I'm not going to say it's going to come back later, but like it might come back later. Who's to say?
It's rough, man. It's horrible to hear that. And I think the priest was doing his best to be, comforting, but it's not very comforting.
No.
Having this happen to him, though, he realizes that he needs to get out. By the way, Boys in the Hood is not a Spike Lee movie, but it is a cultural phenomenon, or cultural cornerstone for...
You heard it here last.
You're not wrong. So this is why he goes to Tulsa, and that caused him and his family to be involved in the bombing. The bombing didn't happen because of him, but because he left his hometown, they were in Tulsa during the bombing, which caused him then to meet the lady who is the Raven. I forget her name, and she helps him, which starts his whole crusade. We do see the day that she helps him.
That's Nightingale.
Nightingale, thank you. Nightingale and Sylvester, she helps Sylvester, and he feeds him, and they're hunted by hunters who are of the Sangrear family and a Native American family of Jinnu or monster hunters.
Mm-hmm.
They track them down, but even they're like, this raven creature is not like anything I've ever seen before. This is not a Jinnu or whatever other names that we have for it. This is strange. It has human tendencies. They end up capturing the both of them and taking them in, and they feed the raven person, the raven woman, some medicine to revert her back to her human form. Nightingale back to her human form. And seeing this, they're like, this is different. This is very strange. Nightingale and Sylvester eventually do leave that and go on their crusade because of vengeance, because of hate, because of retribution.
Yep.
But we get to see a little bit of backstory.
And
back in the current day Harlem,
for that, check out
unquote.
Bitterroot Volume 1.
Yeah. Back in current day Harlem, we see that Berg is obviously very upset. He doesn't want to be this way. But Ma'at is like, well, I'm sorry that I didn't see this before, but now I see it. Ma'at can see things that aren't always there. She knows things that you're not supposed to know. And Berg is talking about what he feels. He feels incredible pain and sadness and anger, not just his own for losing his family members, his mother, his father, but he can feel other people's incredible pain and anger.
Yep.
And this is something that will continue with these monsters, and we'll have to come back to that. Beneath the city, we have Cullen, Blink, Blink's mom, and the white boy, Jasper, who was the clan member in the first volume, are walking around trying to find more monsters, and they see a bunch of bodies that have essentially been dementored. Kind of all their hope and everything, their humanity has been sucked out of them, and they know exactly what this is because it's happening in Georgia. Adro is growing more powerful. It turns out that when Adro lets you feel your pain and wants to help you with your retribution, that being feeds that and takes your life from you as this happens. So Adro grows stronger, you grow less like a person. Which is now being seen by Sylvester, who was like, oh, this might be helpful. No, it's not. This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Yeah, the parents of the boy that they came across earlier, they want Adro to bring him back, and she brings him back, but it's basically like the stereotype, like the zombie like husk of a person. Like he's devoid of what makes him human. And they're like, I wanted my son back, not like this.
Well, that's not yet, because the town's like, oh, this is great. Look at Adro can do. Adro is good. And Adro's like, yes, aren't I? Love me. But Sylvester sees the real problem. So later on, the parents will realize that this was not what they actually wanted.
I jumped ahead.
That's okay. Because like it's two plot lines that are parallel. We could do one at a time, but the book doesn't do it that way. And that's okay. The next picture that is the cover of this volume or issue is Purple Rain. Very, very obviously Purple Rain. I knew this one right away. This volume, or this issue, is Blink talking to Uncle Enoch, saying, hey, let's give cops the serum so they can take down the monsters and return them into human forms, even if it's only for a little bit. This will be very helpful. And the cops are like, yeah, we'll do that, no problem.
But also, how do I tell which one's which?
And they have this little creature who's like, it doesn't like Janu, but it has no problem with the other monsters. So if it's scared of whatever monster you're looking at, Janu. If it doesn't want to, or doesn't care about them, it's not a Janu. It's the other thing, which I believe they name Inzando. Inzando and Janu are the two. Stay with us, folks. They go to a jazz club because Blink is like, why are people gathering in a jazz club? And Enoch's like, well, some people gather in church, some people gather in a jazz club. It's what makes you feel okay at the time. And music has gotten black people through a lot of hard times, is what he says. Music has been the great unifier. So people come here to feel normal. They're able to dose a lot of people here at the club, which is helpful, but it doesn't last, which is very unfortunate. And Blink sees this, and Blink is kind of... she's realizing the battle that they're fighting. She's realizing how hard this is going to be. That it's not just her brothers and sisters, it's now the entire city of Harlem is being affected, which means that the entire area of New York was probably affected, which means the whole United States could be affected.
Yeah. It's like a big problem.
It's a big problem. Such a big problem, in fact, that the family splits. And at the same time that they're doing this in New York, the other half of the family, which is Cullen, Berg, Jasper, the uncle, and the aunt, whose names I can't remember for the life of me, go down south because they know that stuff's happening in Georgia. Cullen the whole time has been very reserved, been very cold, and will not acknowledge Jasper as a person because Jasper was originally a Klansman. But Jasper has made every effort to correct his previous wrongdoings, has realized that he was wrong, is realizing that the Sangreers are his real family and that he cares about them and wants to help. It's not a lie. He's not hiding or being sneaky. He legitimately wants to help.
Yep, because he was very stupid and just believed what he was told and called it a day. He didn't realize the weight of the hatred that he was allowing.
And in ignoring him, Cullen ignores Jasper talking about something's wrong with the car, and they all ignore him, but later on we will see that Jasper's right and the car does break down in Georgia. In Georgia, the doctor, Sylvester, is realizing he's feeling physical pain from his emotional torment, and Adro has been pulling at the emotional pain inside of him. This is when the father of the murdered boy who asked him to come back realizes that this is not my son. This is a husk of a son, and Adro is not doing good things. And Sylvester's, agrees with him and says, this is not right. This is wrong. My friends, my prayers have been answered, but not by God. I thought God was helping me. No, it's the devil.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, Jeremy.
Yes.
Someone called you the devil. What would your response be?
indignancy, being upset, asking them why they feel that way, but definitely not a smile.
Something
that's for sure.
like, see, to me, it would be something like, I'm not the devil.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Denial immediately.
I'm not the devil. Are you kidding me? And then, like, here's 1,001 reasons why I'm not the devil. Not like, oh, you think I'm the devil? Is that
Yeah, but like
is
with
that
a
where we're
wry
going with
smile.
this? Yeah, like, like, no, I'm not the devil.
Adro doesn't have that reaction, Jonathan. In fact, Adro has the reaction of, the devil doesn't offer salvation. I do. And he's like, yeah, you're definitely a bad guy. You're a mask for chaos. And Adro says, maybe that's true. But salvation comes at a price. And she just cracks Sylvester in the shoulder, knocking him back. Adro has revealed themselves as the true evil. There is no hiding it. There is no debate. They're the bad guys.
Yep.
The broken down van of the Sangreer family breaks down just outside of Hopeville, Georgia, which is where Adro is, believe it or not, or near where Adro is. And the group is there, and here's the thing, John. The group is four black people. And in Hopeville, Georgia in 1924, what do you think they thought about black people?
I mean, well, based on the sign that we see in the panel.
Oh,
Not
thank
much.
you. Could you please tell me about that sign, Jonathan? Is it a positive sign?
It is a very negative sign.
Oh, what does it say? Ooh,
I don't wanna say
don't
it
let the sun go
verbatim.
down on you here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
It's
don't
a
wanna use-
sundown town.
I don't want to use all the language they use. But
No,
yes.
absolutely not. It does use the N-word, but it's a sundown town. And for those who may not know what a sundown town is, a sundown town is somewhere that very, very openly said, if you're black and you're here and the sun is down, we will kill you. Not, we'll be upset, or we won't allow you into the Rotary Club. We will murder you. And those towns had officers that upheld those rules, and they had mayors that upheld those rules, and it was very, very bad. This is the ultimate sundown town.
You know, the only following orders argument.
And John, the sun is going down, and they are now surrounded, the Sangreers are now surrounded by an angry mob of white Jinnu. And just bad people.
Yeah,
with
and
guns.
just like people. They're like attack dogs.
It's not looking good for the Sangreer family, but it's also not looking good for the people back in Harlem, because the cops in Harlem are...
They've been locking people up, but they're turning into actual devils. Like,
Yeah.
actual, like, fire truck red face, actual devils.
Well, this is
They're
where they
like,
find out
well,
that this is not...
We use the serum and, like, nothing's working out. And then the behind bars, like, maybe there is no cure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that we were talking about earlier. These are not the humans who have been corrupted. These are just devils, just the devils, just bad guys. It's really scary. I don't like it. And that ends that issue. And the next one we see is the cover of, I believe it's New Jack City.
This is not one I recognized.
The only reason I remember this one is I remember watching on The Late Show with David Letterman, the main actor in this movie, yes, New Jack City, who is Wesley Snipes, was talking about this movie and how excited he was to do this movie. Don't know anything about the movie. I just remember I remember the title.
Just remember the one sheet, and that's about it.
Exactly. This issue is back in the Harlem Precinct again. The cops are talking to Ma Etta, and she's like, yeah, I've never seen anything like this. I've also never seen the Jinnu or the monsters drawing symbols, and they are. They're drawing symbols in their blood and stuff all over the walls, and these symbols are unrecognizable to Ma Etta, which is very confusing.
Maeda,
back
the
in Georgia-
oldest and and like presumably the wisest of us, who has seen the most of the struggle. So if she is at a loss, like, I gotta figure this out quick.
Yes. Back in Georgia, we had a slight time jump where the family has evaded the angry mob, at least for now, but they are separated. We have Cullen's aunt, and Cullen's uncle are making their way to a church. We have Berg is held up in a hardware store, and Jasper is nowhere to be seen. And Cullen says, you know what? He probably left us because he's a white man. He doesn't care about us. But that's not true. Jasper has run back to the car to get more of the serum to help because he wants to help. He looks for the creatures and he says, we have to help them. I have to help them. Mm-hmm. He does legitimately care. And I think this is great. Honestly, I really like Jasper here. And you knew what was coming, but I love that they set him up like this because it shows that he legitimately developed as a character.
Yep.
The angry mob finds everyone hiding out in the church and is going after them. Elsewhere in Georgia, Adro is attacking Dr. Sylvester and the family of the boy. Everyone's going after them. Unfortunately, because they're so upset about their son dying, again, their fear and their sadness is like intoxicating to Adro, and they're able to find the family very quickly. The father is killed by a monster. The mother and Dr. Sylvester run off. But again, they're very easy to track because they're so upset. He is telling them, we can't go back. We have to keep moving forward. You can't be sad. You can't feel pain. It makes them more powerful. Run. He gets away, but she doesn't. It's horrible.
Yes.
But back in Chinatown in New York, Blink and Enoch are going to the Chinese family of monster hunters. And he's like, we can't do this. Like, you can't just go tell them you're going to work together. And she goes, why not? And he goes, that's not how it's been. And she goes, oh, okay. So slavery was how it was, and that's how it's always been for a while. And women couldn't vote, but, we just got that right, but that's not how it was. So you're telling me that the way things were and the way things are is how it's always going to be? That's ridiculous. Change has to happen. And he goes, you know what? Touche. You're right.
The exact quote is, don't you ever talk to me about the way things are unless you're willing to talk to me about the way things can be.
She's got a very valid point. I like her point. And Enoch even says, touche. In Chinatown, they fight a Chinese dragon demon, which is pretty sick. And they're going to fight that for a little while. But Maeda is still trying to figure out what's going on with these new monsters. And they're all scraping symbols, but they don't know what these symbols are. It's very confused. They can't purify these monsters. They just need to be put down at this point, Maeda talks about. But again, these symbols, they're all scratching these symbols. What do these symbols mean?
On the walls, the dirt, no one knows.
We have two very quick flashes of Jasper going to get help, and we also have Sylvester running away.
He sees that the mob is now burning down the church that the Sangrees are in. He's like, oh, they are the devils.
Oh,
they really
are
the devils. Yeah.
They are the baddies. So that's going on with them. Back in Chinatown, they defeat the dragon demon, and the girl who is working with she is the Chinese monster hunter is like, yeah, I'm joining with you guys. Absolutely, we need to help save this city. The Jasper gets to the family and is helping them. Is trying to save them all. Cullen again is like, I don't care. Like, this guy, I don't trust this guy. He's nothing to me. But Cullen is risking his life in the middle of a fight right next to Berg to save the family. He wants to help. Adro has taken everybody in this town of Georgia while Sylvester has run away, and he runs right to Hopeville, Georgia, which I guess that is where he is from originally. So he has made it all the way back to his home, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I think the church that the Sangrees are in is the same church that the service was held at that we saw after the riots. Or no, because that's Oklahoma. Sense. Never mind. That's not.
I don't know.
The same one. No, it's not.
I don't know why he says this then.
Because he's in Oklahoma.
He ran. He's in Georgia. He ran right back to the town, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but in the beginning, he was in Oklahoma.
Right. But he's here. He's like, no, this can't be. This is not real. God, you still test me. Oh, it's because he's just running around in circles. He can't get out of the town. That's why. So Sylvester can't get out of the town. He runs right back and he goes, you know what? I'm done running. And he goes full monster. And he's like, I'm going to go in and I'm attack. The final issue we have for this volume is the cover is the movie Juice. And Juice is a movie starring Tupac Shakur. I don't know who made it. Let me look. Juice is a 1992 film directed by Ernest Dickerson. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. But it stars Tupac, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And Omar Epps is in it, too. I like Omar Epps. And that's that. We see another take back. We cut back again briefly to Sylvester and Nightingale about to start their crusade. Which, again, see Bitterroot Volume 1 episode, please. It's a great episode. In Harlem, everyone from the Sangreer family and the Chinese family are working together now. And, hey, these symbols are Chinese that the demons are all writing. And the grandfather and the girl translate it to something of an invitation to
the god of destruction.
Which is bad. That's a very bad thing. And
It's
Enoch
definitely not
and
good.
everyone is like, okay, well, glad we know that now, but that's not good. So, that's that. Back in Georgia, the monsters are being defeated while Adro stands tall. Dr. Sylvester and Berg are like, you know what? Game on. Let's go. Cullen and the family are running and trying to escape, but Adro is so much stronger. At this point, Adro has completely shed the visage of Nightingale.
Yeah,
and is just
any
a horrible
semblance
eldritch
of
creature.
human is gone.
It's horrifying. He's made of like faces and souls. He's got like horns and horrible teeth. It's messed up.
Uh-huh.
Jasper tries to stop Cullen because Cullen's not going to survive this fight. They understand they need to retreat. Everyone else needs to understand they retreat, but Cullen's like, no, I will not retreat. This is all I care about. Because it was mentioned briefly that he is the first soul, or maybe it's mentioned here, he's the first soul that's not corrupted by greed or hate or fear. He has just been corrupted by himself.
Mm.
We don't explore that too much now, but I'm assuming we'll explore it in later issues. But that is incredible that he is the first soul to be corrupted by himself. It's just pure... I don't even know what it is. But he can't be stopped. He won't see any retribution. He doesn't care about anything around him. Even when Jasper is killed in front of him, after trying to save his life.
And while
shows
trying
no
to
remorse.
describe how he has changed, how he's not like that anymore, how he only now has seen what's actually happening in the world. He gets impaled.
So we've been calling him Jasper. His name's Johnny Ray.
Yeah,
Oops.
I didn't have a good point to jump in with that. But
I knew it was... That's all right. Johnny Ray. So Johnny Ray is killed in front of Cullen, who still doesn't care at this point. But everyone around him, all of the Sangreers, are horribly upset by this, wanting retribution. To the point where Cullen says, you know, the creature's like, Adro's like, look at your dead friend. Know that his soul now sustains me. Give me everything that you're feeling. He says, he's not my friend. I don't feel a thing. That's how cold and heartless he is. In Harlem, all of the creatures are stopped and staring up into a void, which doesn't seem good. But in Hopeville, Georgia, the void is opening around them as well, and something is coming down to stop Adro. We don't know what it is yet, but it's something that Adro fears. These are new creatures, new monsters that are not Adros. They are not controlled by the evil. They're controlled by somebody else that we don't know. Sylvester, using this new person who's come to help, drags Adro back into the hell dimension and it takes him away. That stops Adro for now. Everyone turns to this new person who just showed up, who looks like the Angel of Death. He's got a shroud on, he's got a mask on, he carries a scythe and has wings. Everyone's like, so is that the end of Adro?
Here, but
And
like
the
the appearance, like, yeah, he's got a scythe, but the appearance honestly reminds me a lot of like the owl from Court of Owls.
Yeah, it's very steampunky.
Yes.
It's clearly somebody in the Sangreer family or related to the it's a human. It has to be a human.
I think I know who it is.
I want to hear who you think it is, because I have not a clue. And that person's like, Adro's not gone. Adro's going to be back, but we have won this battle. And that person takes off their mask, and Dunk's like, it's you! And he's like, yep, it's me, and we have not won. And then it cuts forward a year, and the monster hunting in Harlem has not gotten any easier. In fact, it has gotten worse, but everyone is now standing together. The black family, the Native American family, the Asian family, they are working together to take this down.
Yep.
But the last line that actually closes the book is, after all this time, nearly a year, I still can't tell the difference between the infected humans and these demons.
Neither can I, and I don't care.
That ends the volume, which is so frustrating because it's so good and I want to know who's under that mask, but I don't know who it is.
I think I know who it is.
And, well, we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
But what a great continuing book. I love this book so much, and I can't wait to read the next one. John, who do you think
excellent.
it is?
So if you go to, there's a family tree included in the beginning of issue 6, and a lot of members it says deceased, but Charlie Sangarier has an image, and it says he's thought to have been killed during the Red Summer of 1919.
Ooh.
So because so many on that tree say deceased, and for Charlie it says thought to have been killed,
It's got to be Charlie.
my money's on Charlie.
That's cool. I'm into that. It's not the first time that's happened, too. At the end of the last volume, the Ant and Cullen came back wearing very similar costumes.
Yeah, so
it
that's,
wouldn't shock me.
That's my
So Charlie
my
was
guess.
also in the Hell Dimension, or somebody else was in that Hell Dimension, and found a way through using creatures that weren't Adros. Interesting. I know that today's recap and wrap up may have felt a little scattered, but honestly, this book is kind of scattered because it is volume 2.
It jumps back and forth among at least 3 plot lines in any given issue.
That being said, it's phenomenal. You should read it.
It's excellent. I also can't wait for volume 3. I can't wait for this movie. There's no semblance of a timeline on that, but I'm still here for it regardless.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, let's take this out and let's get to the outro and how we're going to read next week. And that is the podcast this week. John, I had a fun time. I love Bitterroot. I'm very excited for Bitterroot 3 to come out, aren't you?
Excellent book. Very excited.
It'll be a long-anticipated return, but you know what else is going to be a long-anticipated return that's finally going to happen? Matt is back next week, everybody!
Bow, bow, bow.
Unless something happens, but please, we're all hoping it doesn't, but we're very excited for Matt to come back next week. Matt is coming back, so we're obviously going to read something that Matt loves. We're going to read Nightwing, Volume 2, Back to Bloodhaven, written by Tim Seeley, with art by Minku Jung. Get excited. Marcio Takara and Marcus Toe also did art in this book. But get excited. Matt's coming back. Nightwing's coming back. We haven't done a Nightwing book in a hot minute. Get very excited, but that'll be very fun. John, you're not super familiar with Nightwing, but are you looking forward to reading this book? And are you looking forward to having Matt back on the podcast?
Yes and yes. This book's supposed to be good. It's not that I don't. I like Nightwing. I don't know enough to love Nightwing, is where my stance is.
That's fair. I think that's more than fair. Maybe this book will be the thing that makes Nightwing your favorite, but I doubt it. But that's not because the book's not good. It's just because there's a lot to read already, but I'm very excited to have Matt back.
And Batgirl
but I'm
exists,
also excited.
So there is that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also excited, though, John. It's Christmas season, holiday season, Hanukkah. All those different seasons are happening.
Chrysler time is here.
Get excited. It's right. Happy holidays, everybody. It is here. And with that being said, did you know, John, that Santa Claus has a Twitter account?
No, I didn't know Santa had a Twitter account.
So Santa has a Twitter account. And with all the PS5 news, I've been following a lot of Twitters and getting a lot of accounts and getting the notifications. So I turned on the Santa notifications because, why not? He tweeted out the naughty list.
He tweeted out the naughty list.
He did. Actually, I want to read off some of the names on here because I found some that I think we know. Cheryl Blossom.
Obviously.
Sam Messer.
Yeah.
Reginald Hargreaves.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
You can see it, right?
I can see it.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
100%.
Without a doubt. Loki Odinson.
Obviously.
COVID-19.
That's that, yeah.
And John. John?
Me.
Yeah, John. It says John from Talking Trades.
Give me that.
Yeah, here.
Reggie Mantle, Rasputin.
Rasputin.
The one from Marvel.
Oh, right.
And, yeah, John. Why am I...
John, why are you on the naughty list?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not... Gotta do something.
Also, John, why was there paper rustling if it's you checking on Twitter?
Jeremy, when you print all, you print all.
Right, my bad, sorry. What are we going to do about this, though? This is not good.
It's not good. But you know what? I got it. I know.
You got a plan?
I got a plan.
What are we going to do?
I'm going to run for president.
I don't know that will help this situation. Maybe a plan B?
You're right. Plan B. We go to the North Pole.
Why was that your plan B?
Because I'm not 35.
To be continued.
You can follow us on Twitter at Talkin' Trades. Follow Jeremy on Twitter at LizardKing27. You can find John on Twitter at Maesterlaka, Maesterlaka. And for this and other projects from Matt, please check out Facebook at Matt Spina Music. And remember, we're not experts, we're fans.